Hi there, and welcome back to the channel. So I wanted to do a quick update on my BYOGuitar Flying V. I've done a few videos, built it I guess a couple years ago, but I wanted to show you the current state it's in. It's in two pieces, and that would, seem like a bad thing, but I'm actually really excited because I can't believe I got this neck off of this thing, and now I can reset it and get the guitar actually playable. So what happened is when I bought the guitar, I was just, trying to learn a little bit about building guitars. It was like 185 bucks. I figured on a lark, it would be a good way to learn. I didn't expect it to be a great guitar or anything, but it is quite a nice piece of wood. It's a nice piece of mahogany. I don't know if it's like for reals mahogany or whatever, but it feels good. It's nice. The guitar is light. Then they gave me good enough pieces to where you could stain it, and I did the wood tone stain on it. I have what's this company? Tone Pro's bridge. It's like a locking bridge, so it stays on the post. That's kind of cool. I put some decent tuners on there. They were all parts, but I think they were Gato. What else did I do? Oh, the pickups in it are really nice. They're Goodell pickups. This company out of North Carolina. I think they're defunct now, but it was a guy in North Carolina who had some nice guitars he built, and he wound these vintage wind PAF style humbuckers, and those sound awesome. But I didn't know what I was doing, it's a guitar kit. And when I put the guitar together, I used hide glue, not to be cool, but because I had read that it was removable. Like you could, get it off a lot easier than you could, like maybe say Type Bond. So I used the hide glue, and I just sort of put the neck in. I remember putting it in, and I just got the tenon up against the base of the body and just super glued it on. I mean, not super glued it on, hide glued it on, clamped it on, and thought, that's it. And it did work. You could get the strings on it, but the problem was that the neck angle was all screwed up. So what would happen is when you would get to like the 12th fret probably, it just went into ski jump mode. The angle was all just terrible, which made the guitar pretty much unplayable. And it would get real tight up here too, so you'd have to relieve the neck to get this playable, but when you did that, it went way ski jump down here. So if you tried to come down to the 12th fret, do any kind of pentatonic stuff like 12th to 15, it was just so high that it was just hard to grab on and play. And then multiple other problems, string jumping out of the nut. I mean, just like every problem under the sun. And I thought it was because the kit was somehow screwed up, or maybe the bridge holes weren't far enough back. I had all these theories. But really, it was just because I did not get that neck angle correct. And it goes back a lot further on a Gibson style build or like a set neck style build. That angle goes back, quite a bit more than you would think. So the dilemma was I basically had a useless guitar. I had all these good parts. I had some really good pickups, and I had this cool looking, wonderful looking finish, and I made it where it would distress really well. It's kind of like a relic, not a relic, but I'm letting it just kind of age properly. If you wanted to, you could resand it, re-wood tone the stain, and it would be like a brand new guitar. But I like the kind of beat up look of it, so it's slowly, I'm just letting it, do its thing. But the main problem that I encountered was like not understanding how to set that neck. And the next problem I encountered was how to get the neck off so that it wasn't just a worthless piece of junk. And I had all these, like I said, I have all these good parts on it, what to do. And I had read that hide glue was mutable, that was kind of the idea that French furniture makers would use hide glue, and knowing that they could always take a leg off, do a recarve, a redesign, or retool or whatever, and then glue it back on again. So I kind of in the back of my mind thought, well, if I screw up really badly, I'll at least have the ability to get this. I'm kind of scraping some of this hide glue off that came off. It kind of crystallized when I heated it up. So I didn't know exactly what to do, and I went looking on the internet. I tried you used a little olive oil down the seam. So like in the back of the neck joint, I took a butter knife and kind of ran it down, put a little denatured alcohol very carefully. I didn't want to mess up my finish. But I could hear the glue cracking, which was a good sign. I was like, okay, well that's something. I took all the hardware off the front of the guitar, took the pickups off. I put this hardware back on just so I wouldn't lose it. But because these have those little Allen screws in it, it's that locking bridge, and I didn't want to lose those. Once I got the pickup off and I could see the tenon, here in the thing, I tried using the knife here, kind of trying to separate it from the wood, sprayed a little water, little denatured alcohol once again, trying to, get that glue to crack and get it to release. But it was not, and it was not moving, and I just thought, well, I really don't know what to do. And so I kept searching. I went searching on YouTube, and I stumbled across Texas Toast Guitars, a company out of Texas that builds guitars, and they've got tons of videos, and they really know what they're doing. They've got the whole like a setup to build guitars. And he was one of the guys there was working on an old SG, and he removed the set neck very easily and cleanly with a heat gun. I was like, a heat gun? Man, that is awesome. I have a heat gun. It's downstairs. Went and got the heat gun. And I had experience with a heat gun before because I had learned that when you bang on your drum heads, like if you get some big holes in it, craters, just take that heat gun and go around the edge real nice, real slow, and it just pops back into place, and you can keep going with your heads, get a couple more shows out of it or record or whatever. So I knew the power of a heat gun, but this really took me by surprise. So what he was doing is he had the body clamped down to a table. He had the heat gun, and he was just kind of pushing down on the neck, and pops up once the I guess the glue heats up, crystallizes, lets go, and while you're putting the pressure on, it just pops loose. So I had my daughters. I put it on a coffee table basically. My daughters were holding down the legs. This is not a very good way to do things. I should have been being more careful. But like I said, this is just a kit guitar, and I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just screwing around, hacking around. And so I have the heat gun on here, and I've documented it on video. But as I was heating it up, I could see the wood kind of getting darker and stuff, inside the tenon, and I didn't want to, mess up the finish or just do something wrong, like set the guitar on fire. So as I'm heating it up and kind of nervously, looking at the guitar, one of my daughters says, "I heard it crack, it's cracking." And as I kind of turned to her to respond to that, and I was pushing down, and I was kind of pushing down here, the neck just pops off. You can just see it, just you can feel it release. And the only little glitch that happened is on this side, a piece of wood did not release and stayed stuck to here. And it's, a cosmetic thing. It's like right here on the body. But luckily, it just stayed stuck to the side. I heated it up and just kind of wood putty knifed it off, and then just took a little Titebond, put it back into place with the glue on it, and sort of forgot about it. When I came back, it's perfectly sitting there. Now you can see there's a little glitch there, but luckily it's on this side of the guitar. And I'm letting this guitar just kind of age naturally. Like, I'm not trying to protect it or be careful with it. I used a wood tone stain on it, which I love. The guitar, the body looks actually really good. They gave me a body that was stainable. It's not like a paint grade body. It's actually a pretty good body. And that wood tone stain is really kind of a thin finish. It's not like spraying on a bunch of nitro or poly. And so it ages really wonderfully. And I'm just letting it do its thing. If I ever decide I want it to be perfect, just sand it back down again, refinish. It'd be like brand new again. But I'm letting this one look, like an old SG. That's why I picked this color. So I can't believe it worked, and I am very, very grateful to the Texas Toast guys, because that's how I figured out how to do it. I even sent him a thanks and a comment, like, just, man, thank you so much. That kind of information is, indispensable and just wonderful when people share their knowledge like that. For people like me that are at home, saved my life, because saved my day, because this guitar was, just sort of sitting here, had all these good parts, all these wonderful pickups on it, and I kept looking at it like I'm so cool looking. It looks a great looking guitar. Great, the finish turned out great, and just really cool, and it's cool to have a flying V. You know, whenever I see Hendrix playing, he's got his Strat, and he would have that black flying V sitting next to his Marshall stack, and just, you know, so iconic. And it was a fun guitar, even in its terrible state. It was still fun and sounded great. Just very, you know, unplayable. But I'm really appreciative to the Texas Toast channel and to those guys, because it's unbelievable that it worked so well, so easily, and you know, basically like I gotta get a new guitar kit. Now the challenge is going to be, need to go back to that Texas Toast channel and watch some videos on how to get the angle correct, because that's you know, that's the next big challenge. And what happens here, I can see, you know, when I glued it in, I just sort of jammed it up against the body, you know, because I think there's some companies that send it like, you know, where it's set up like that and it's always going to be correct. But in this case, that was not the case, and I needed to understand the angle, you know, the rake angle. And so I guess you would get like a carpenter's angle or something and set it here, and then go to the nut and get it where, you know, you have the proper amount of clearance, like where it leans back some. But what I thought about doing, and this could be totally stupid, but I'm hoping that somebody, some kind soul out there that knows about guitar building will give me some kind of clue as to an easy way to set this up. But I was thinking of putting the stop piece on and running the string, you know, up like so. So you've got it in the, I'll just kind of string it, sort of. It'll let me. Might be fighting me because it's so thick. Okay, so I got the string into the post, and as you can see here, well, you can't see here, but the goal would be to get this string where it's, you know, looking good on the fretboard, like a good action. And so what I was thinking of doing is getting it set up, you know, where I can see that it's going to work, and then making a mark like right here where I can see in the guitar where the tendon is, like just straight line. Once I get this lined up correctly, and this is going to be a lot of trial and error, I can tell, but I'm hoping that that will work. And somebody out there hopefully can chime in real quick and tell me if I'm on the right path. And the good news is that since it is hide glue, and I've been able to get the neck off once, if I make a mistake again and, you know, it's not right, in theory, just take it back off again. Don't want to keep, you know, doing that and damage the guitar any further. But it's a really good way to learn, and that's kind of the whole point, is to learn something. I could also potentially take it to my guy here locally, Cody, and see if he could set it for me. And I might have him do the electronics too, just because I want to have it wired really well. The way I wired it was, you know, pretty sloppy. And if I just had him, my soldering iron isn't great, and my skills are, you know, amateurish. So I might have him properly wire it. And then this guitar is going to be a banger. It's going to be a for reals, you know, take it out and go. Make noise with it. All right, so thank you so much for watching. If you have any advice on how to set a neck properly so that the angle is correct, please pass along that information. And I want to thank and recommend the Texas Toast channel, because that's how I figured out how to heat gun this thing off. And I'm very, you know, I very much appreciate those videos, you know, all that knowledge that's just sitting there. So check those guys out. I'm sure everybody knows about them, because I noticed they have a lot of subs, and they like enter these contests, and it's just cool channel, cool builders. And it really saved the day, because now I think I can get this thing playing again, and I'm excited about it. Alright, so hopefully everybody's projects are going well, your recording projects, your guitar building projects, or whatever it is that you do for fun, because, you know, that's all this is just having fun. So if there's anything I can do, just reach out next time.